WoW's super social, and most people are pretty aware of that. I think there's a few people who actually truly just care about parsing and don't really care about the MMO aspects. But I believe that's a very small minority of the player base at large. And even amongst people who really care about parsing, the vast majority of them, I think, really understand that the game is mostly about having interactions with other people. And through having these interactions with other people, I think it's really easy for a lot of players to feel like they are tied down in some way. And it can make them feel unhappy or uncomfortable, even if rather their guild is a great place to be in or a terrible place to be in. They'll have all of these unsaid expectations that they believe exist that they will tell themselves, and it can make it so players feel like they have to, for example, go to an alt raid that they really don't enjoy, or they'll feel like they can't take a break from the game or miss a single raid, or they're being some kind of a bad teammate, and they don't even need anybody to tell them this kind of stuff for them to believe it themselves. They probably have some idealized image of what they think a great teammate is or a great friend is, and then they try to maybe live up to this in their own head, or they have an idea of what somebody else thinks is an ideal teammate or friend, and then they try to live up to what they think somebody else would basically want from them. But none of this stuff has ever been actually outright communicated to the people who feel this way. It's just a thing that I think happens. I've noticed it with having guildies who have quit the game. Most of my guildies in the current guild I have that have stopped playing the game have told me things when they finally decided that's enough is enough and that they can't play anymore, that made me really think that they had this idea that I would be upset with them or disappointed in them. And obviously people before they quit stuff, usually they've been dealing with something for a very long time. That just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But in the moment, it definitely makes sense. I mean, everything you do in some respect, every second of your life makes perfect sense to you. It's just that it's like a mixture of things you can actually articulate, I guess, and then just how you feel. Maybe you've quit a job before. Like I remember I worked at Microsoft and I was really, really unhappy. And I worked there for a couple of years, and I had so many reasons I told myself why I should stick around. And one of them, this is like one of the crazier ones, is that it would be tough on my manager to have to like operate the team with one less person for months before they'd be able to replace me, just because it's a corporate environment and it takes a while to replace somebody. I was actually a I actually wasn't a very good employee, and I didn't believe it at the time either. At the time, I also thought I wasn't a very good employee. So it's not like I would be hard to replace, like in the way where it's hard to replace a high DPS player in your guild, or it would be difficult to find a good raid leader or a main tank. No, nothing like that. And these kinds of things are believed by, I mean, from my perspective, it seems like most players in the game. I feel like I get a lot more perspective of how other people feel about this stuff now because I just ask them, and they are comfortable with talking to me about it, I guess, because they hear me talking about things that are fucking schizophrenic sounding on YouTube. Like I most of my guildies who have stopped rating. Actually, I think all of them that have stopped rating have offered to come to additional raids to make it easier while they like slowly quit, which is wild. And I understand in the abstract what they could be thinking. They could believe that the raid at large, or that myself or somebody, some other party is going to be disadvantaged from them stopping. But they wouldn't bring this up at all, of course, until they've already been in pain for a while. Which is, I mean, it's nice that in some ways it's nice that people have this level of consideration towards others, but it's actually really bad because they're not creating nearly as much value for the other people they're sacrificing for as the amount of value they're destroying for themselves almost ever. Now, maybe it's different if you run a guild or if you're a raid leader or if you're a main tank and there truly isn't anybody else that has the confidence to take the role. But almost under any other circumstances, it's not that serious if you are there or you aren't there. Even myself, I'm sure I could miss a raid, and there's a ton of people in my guild that I could ask to raid lead, and I could simply be like, all right, you need to take 45 seconds between every time you drop combat, you have to stay out of combat for 45 seconds. So that way the raid always has full health and full mana, and you have to make sure that you say the tank assigns every pull. And maybe it would add 5 minutes onto the run. And everything would be completely fine, and that would be like a really lazy and kind of insane way for me to handle that. But I wouldn't need to be there. And yet, in my past guilds I've ran, or past guilds I've been in and been a tank in, I have felt personally like I could never stop having that position even if I didn't like it. The guild that I made in 2019, I was really, really unhappy with the way the social scene had changed over the years of running it. And I quit my own guild that I made at the start of 2019. It didn't really get rolling for like 3 months. I teamed up with another guy, and then we like really built the thing. But we played from like BWL till Nax, and then I started stepping away a little bit, and then I just quit during Tier 5. And the whole time I kind of felt like if I quit, this thing isn't going to continue and it's going to impact people. And I'm like I'd expect myself to be a strong leadership figure and stick it out and figure out how I'm going to make this be a place I want to be, the guild that is as the place, and just other crazy things. And I wasn't able to get myself to quit the game until I just hated a ton of the people I played with. It was crazy. I had to have like a lot of animosity towards them to finally be like, okay, I'm going to like quit the game and quit my own guild. But even that wasn't really even enough impetus, though, was disliking the people. In the end, the thing that really got me to go was I'd stepped away during Tier 5, and then I came back to the game in Tier 6. And I'm doing Black Temple Pugs with some friends. And one day we have a really bad Black Temple Pug. We've like wiped on Illidan like 6 times. It's fucking stupid. I'm losing my mind. It's like 3 a.m. I'm gonna call the pug. I don't care. My friend that I was doing this with. I was doing the raid because I liked the raid, and also because there's a rogue that I really liked, and it'd be cool if he got glaives. But the run wasn't to get him glaives. It was because we like raiding. But he had to go to bed, and I was tired, and I was going to get off. And we had this druid off tank who was like, hey, you just want to stop raid leading, right? Like, you're just tired? Would you be cool with still tanking, and I can take the run over? And I was like, yeah, sure. I don't want to just kill the run here, I guess. I felt like that would be poor of me to do. I was thinking if I didn't stick around, and so it's funny. It's like kind of meta, like similar to the other stuff, feeling locked into things for no reason. But this is actually a good thing that I felt locked into. Like, yeah, sure. And so then this guy, he goes and he fills a couple spots in the raid since some people had left. And we go and we're about to pull Illidan again. And he's like, "What do you want me to do about the glaives?" And I'm telling him, well, my friend that would have gotten the glaives, he's not here. There, you can do whatever you want. And he's like, "Well, would you want the glaives? You can have them." And I told him, and I meant this, and I still feel this way. If I got them after quitting running the run, they're meaningless. Like, I want them because I can create the thing that gets me them, like, not because of the fucking item. So if like you're running the run and they drop and I were to get them, it won't. I would feel nothing. It's nothing at all. It doesn't mean anything to me. If I was running the run, it would mean something, but I'm not going to do that. He's like, "Are you sure? That's crazy. Come on, take the glaives if they drop." I'm like, "They're not going to drop anyways. No, you should sell them." And we kill the boss. He does a great job raid leading. We kill the boss, one pull, and the main hand glaive drops. And he's like, "Hey, your glaive dropped. You can have it." I don't know this guy. I don't know this guy at all. And I'm like, "Nope, I don't want it." And he like bugs me a couple times. He's like, "Take the fucking glaive." I'm like, "Nope, I don't want the glaive." And then eventually he's like, "Okay, fine, I'll sell it then." And I remembered having and I had this interaction with this guy, and I was like, "This is the craziest fucking thing ever." And then afterwards, I talked to him a little bit about what the fuck his time playing the game was like. I'm like, why was he pugging? Like, why was he here in this Black Temple? And how did he end up here? He understands the raid really well. He only has one character, is what I presumed, and that was right. He has this experience running raids, and he's seemingly playing the game kind of all alone. Like, what is going on? And we got to know each other a bit, and then just in this night after the Black Temple, we like hung out for a couple hours. And then that's what got me to finally quit my guild. I was like, okay, I have actually been wasting my time for like a year because I've managed to do all this shit that I really disliked, and I haven't made that many more good friends. There's a lot of good friends I had in that guild, but I wasn't making new good friends. I was just kind of fucking around. And I didn't realize it, but I was fucking around. I was being really unserious about my time. And then I'm in a stupid ass pug, not affiliated with my guild at all, and I run into this dude, and he's a great guy. And I'm like, okay, so I've gotten more progress with accomplishing things that matter in the game on accident by simply not associating with my guildies than in the last year of on and off, like, very committed effort. And so I just quit my guild. And people were like, "What the fuck is going on?" And I don't think I told them what was going on. I was like, "Fuck these people. What am I doing? Like, this is insane." And so I was just ungilded, doing things. I kept on doing these Black Temple runs, and I kept on meeting a person that would be worth knowing every couple of weeks, which is like really weird because usually I think pugging and pugs, that doesn't really happen, but it kept on happening in Black Temple. I've never had it happen anywhere else ever again since or before that. But I met 6 people in a few months of running Black Temple, and I still talk to all of them. And it wasn't very painful. It's shitty to fill a pug group, and it's stressful, the idea that you could get your run stopped out at the council or on Illidan, depending on which roles you're pugging, how well the job you do yourself as a tank or as a raid leader, other factors. But it wasn't like this constant kind of pain of thinking, am I in the right guild? Am I spending, is what I'm doing actually sustainable? Am I really doing anything? Am I just like playing a game and I'm gonna think it's stupid? I mean, for example, if I logged onto like my League of Legends account right now, I haven't played League in years. I'm pretty sure I have like 2,000 or 3,000 games played of League of Legends, something like that. And all the time I put into that game was a complete fucking waste. all of it. I don't know anybody from League. I wouldn't say that playing League with my friends really made us better friends. Playing WoW with my friends and WoW over extended periods of time has made me better friends. But like League's this really intellectually demanding game that's constantly evolving. It's really competitive. It's all about the game. And one day you probably set it down and you don't really have things you take out of it, unless maybe you learn skills about like meta skills about like learning and stuff. Maybe that could be useful, I guess. But I never got anywhere. I was like gold 1. And that's really what I did for TBC is I just made no real progress with World of Warcraft until I started pugging. So many people I think they're in guilds or communities and they feel just like super tied up, or even they have friends and they just feel really really tied up with them, and they're not sure what to do about it. They maybe can't even they might even think that it's like wrong to really try to put it into language in their head and talk about it, to be like this could be a thing. It's easy to run into people who are extremely friendly, do nothing wrong to you, but just don't hold your interest. And some people understand that like that's okay. You don't have to find everybody interesting and hang out with everyone the same amount. But other people, I think they would maybe have some belief about that's unfair or that's like weird about them. And then maybe they hang out with people that kind of make them have less energy. Not to say that these people that make them have less energy are really doing anything wrong, though, or that they're in any kind of way bad. Although a lot of times with guilds, I think people hang out with a lot of people who are kind of damaged people. Maybe instead of saying they're bad, they're damaged. And they can do it for so long. But if you were to ask these guys, like there's a lot of people who've a ton of the people who've joined my guild. I talk to people for hours and hours and hours before they join. So we can get to know each other and like build a lot of trust. And time again, and this is the same thing with me, people will currently be in a guild. And so like this would be like the scenario. They're currently in a guild, they're in some social group, and they get on a call with me. Obviously it has something to do with I know that it has something to do if they're considering joining my guild, or they think I'm interesting and they like want to see what I'm like. It's one of the two or a mixture of them. Like every time, you know what? Duh. Why else are they going to get on a call with this random dude just because he makes YouTube videos? Doesn't make any sense, right? So of course, they want to join the guild or they want to just have the experience of talking to me. And I will ask them about their guild and how it is. And many people feel like it's wrong, I think, for them to say that they're not completely happy with their group. They feel like that's like some kind of betrayal, even if it really annoys them, the group that is. Or perhaps they, in the case of me, they might think that I'm going to read into it. And if they shit talk their old guild, that like maybe that means they're a bad guildie. But I'll ask them, well, do you think you're going to be playing with them forever? And they'll be like, well, I mean, there's not like a chance. I'm like, what do you mean there's not a chance? Like, there's no chance you can be playing with these guys for like some of them. And they're like, oh, I don't know, probably not, I guess. I'm like, what about like 3 years from now? What about like 2 years from now? And they'll be like, I just don't see it. And it's like, okay, why are you there? Like, what are you doing? Like, really, what are you doing? I mean, the game takes so much time. It's such a big investment. You know, you wouldn't get rank 14. And granted, a lot of people do this, although I think it's insane. You wouldn't get rank 14 just to quit the game, right? That would be crazy. People do that all the time. So I know someone in the comments is going to be like, what do you mean? I know so many people who got rank 14 and quit. I'm like, yeah, and I have a lot of friends in my guilds that did that too in 2019. And they're fucking nuts. And if it was about the goal of getting the items, it makes no sense. Now, granted, there's like a journey part, especially to getting rank 14 back in the day. And there's a journey part with guilds too. I've been in less than 10 guilds in my life, playing the game 3-4 years as a kid, 6 years as an adult. So I guess my average tenure in a guild is a year. Although really, I guess the way it is I've spent 3 years in the first raiding guild I was ever in. It's like a 12-year-old. I spent 3 years in the guild I made in 2019. I spent a 6 months on the Wrath guild I ran, and then there's been short experiences with other guilds that I've joined over time. Most of them on Era. And when it came to putting stress on myself about community building aspects of that and trying to make people happy that weren't my personal friends in the game, or having opinions about myself, like you, for example, this is like I guess a commentary on like self-respect. I was stupid and didn't realize I promised Onslaught Girdle to two people because I have two raid groups, and I was thinking that I'd set up the next Onslaught Girdle as these two guys, and they weren't in the same group. And then I moved them into the same group, and I didn't think about this. And when I told people about who was up for the next one, I managed. This is like a pretty bad luck that it happened this way, but it's still a skill issue. I managed to do it in a way where it wasn't like really possible for hardly anybody else in the guild to realize I had done it except me, until I then assigned one. And my guildies didn't really freak out. Like they're like, yeah, you know, whatever. I'll get the next onslaught. It's fine. But I was really upset with myself for not being what I should be as somebody that's in charge of something important like loot. And you know, and I think that actually makes a lot of sense that I felt bad there, and I think it's a good thing that that's the feeling I had. So that's not like an example of like putting things on yourself that don't make sense, but we do put things on ourselves. If you're currently playing the game and it's not making you feel better, and you don't think you can see yourself doing this in a year due to the way you currently feel, you should probably quit the game, or you should quit your guild, or you should think really hard about what people you like being around and spend more time around them and like way less around everybody else in the game. Something like that. Like I'm very very happy with my guild right now. I think, I mean, this is crazy. Like in a logical way, this like doesn't make sense. Like, but like it really feels like it can go on forever. Like I could do this forever. I could get the world buffs and fucking go grab the consumes and show up to raid with the same people and do the same fucking raid and not even have a whole lot of improvement, and it would still be worth it. And I could keep that up. And granted, I want the fucking raids to be faster. Don't get me wrong. I love raid performance, but it could go on. It could go on forever. I could see it. I could imagine it being that way. And a lot of the guys that I got right now, that they could be happy with that too, and that like there's some real future. And I haven't felt that before. I haven't felt that most of the time playing the game. Most of the time. I mean, granted, anytime I've like joined a guild ever or made a guild, it's felt like that. I've been wrong every other time, but it's felt like that and been really serious about it. Like if you would have met me 4 months before this fresh came out and got me to, and you ran like a guild on Era and you had gotten me to join it, I would have, and you could read my mind, I'd be like, this guild's going to last forever. This is going to be the last guild I'm going to be in. That's like how I would see it until something like that really bugs me happens. Now, granted, I'm fucking certain some things make me tweak. So you could potentially do nothing all that crazy and I could change my mind. But that's like when it feels the best, to me at least, is that it feels like it's an activity that could go on forever and ever, and you could just be in the loop, and it's great. But maybe I'm just a little crazy looking at it that way. Hopefully, though, and I think this would probably be true for anybody. If you're playing the game the way you are right now, and you think you could play it the same way with some of the same people, forever, then you're probably in a good spot. And if you're not, I don't know, you should probably like write a journal entry and to think about things really hard. Like what could you do to make it better? Or why should you put it down? Maybe for good. And you don't even have to give up your friends if you quit the game. So you don't even need to think anything like that. You can still talk to them. It just takes a lot more work if you don't do things that you both enjoy. Thanks for listening. And if you're looking for a guild, fucking hit me up. I don't need to sound depressed the whole video. Yeah, hit me up. I'm fucking looking for people we raid on Night Slayer. Peace.